Hey guys, Dr. Ben here holding let's see if you can see that, a box of gluten-free Girl Scout cookies. So is this healthy? Is gluten-free healthy? And is it what you need to be eating? Well, let's go in detail into that tonight. So welcome everybody. Hope you're all doing great. Go ahead and drop down below where you're watching from. Love to see you guys. But we get this question all the time. Is gluten-free healthy? So these are Girl Scout cookies, toffee-tastic. Gluten-free, rich, buttery cookies with sweet, crunchy toffee bits. So is this healthy? Is it healthier? You know what? It depends on the person and it depends on you. So I'm going to go through a little bit about what gluten is and what gluten-free does and how it can cause some problems. Hello there in Texas. So gluten is found in wheat, barley, rye, even oats. A lot of oats will say gluten-free, but they're still having, for some people, some low amount of gluten in there, and spelt. So those are the top 5 grains that have gluten in them. And gluten in and of itself isn't a bad thing. You know, for years, hundreds and thousands of years, people have eaten wheat, eaten gluten, and all that. But unfortunately, our bodies have devolved. So some people say we have evolution. Well, a lot of times we're actually going down. Hey, Glenn in Missoula, good to see you up there. So this gluten is going to cause a lot of problems. We have many of our patients that get inflammation, that it stimulates their Hashimoto's. It's going to drive a lot of these different issues in their body. And so when they go off of gluten, they get a lot of relief. Full-blown gluten intolerance or allergy is called celiac disease. Celiac disease is where you start damaging your small intestine lining. So you've got all these little finger-like projections, you're absorbing things into that bloodstream, and if you start getting celiac disease, it actually starts irritating those and getting those little nubs down to where you're not absorbing very well, to the point where some people could actually die if they kept eating wheat and kept having these problems. Those darn cookies get me every time. Yes, they do. So we've got to figure out, 1, if you've got a gluten allergy, but then 2, what do we do when that happens? Well, a lot of people go gluten-free. And so I have patients come in and they have this big giant cinnamon roll and they go, it was so good and it was gluten-free. And I'm like, well, would you normally have eaten a cinnamon roll? And they go, no, but it's gluten-free. And we go, well, that's probably not good for you just for that. So when we look at these, again, Girl Scout gluten-free cookies here, rice flour, tapioca starch, sugar, butter, palm oil, brown rice flour, butter, toffee bits, corn syrup, soy lecithin, sugar, sea salt lecithin, xanthan gum, and baking soda. So really, as far as ingredients go, it's not that bad. There's not a lot of horrible things, stuff that you don't know what it is, all of that. But then you look at 2 cookies, and there's 19 grams of carbohydrates in 2 cookies out of 14 total cookies in here. So for 140 calories in 2 cookies. So most gluten-free products, unfortunately, are really a lot heavier and denser grains. So again, it's got the tapioca starch, even rice flour, corn flour, a lot of these different potato starch and different things are going to be heavier grains. There's more calories. There's going to be more carbohydrates in them. So a lot of people, when they just transfer gluten to gluten-free, they're actually getting more carbohydrates. Yes, maybe their inflammation going down, but their blood sugar is going up and they're going to have a lot more problems in there. So we can't just say, oh, you know what, I'm gluten-free now, I'm working on my gut, I'm working on my inflammation, all these different things. But you've got to take a step back and still think about what that's doing to the body. Sandy, I've gone gluten-free, no longer bloating or the breaking out. Yeah, absolutely. So we see this all the time. When people come off gluten, they see a lot of different changes. I just got off the the phone with a lady this evening. She's out by Fort Morgan, Colorado here, and her Hashimoto's markers are gone. They are not elevated at all. She's been off gluten. She's gone through liver cleanses, all these different things that we're doing, and seeing such a difference to the point where she doesn't have any Hashimoto's markers left in the body. So she's not creating this immune response, not attacking her own tissue, not destroying that thyroid anymore. So a lot of things can change when people go off gluten. We'll see people's digestive tract gets better. I've got a patient for the last year, he's had what's called diverticulitis, which is this inflammation of the large intestine, to the point 15 to 20 bowel movements per day. Couldn't even hardly leave the house a lot of the time. And what ended up happening, he was part of the VA, and at first they said it's probably COVID, and he's like, no, it's been going on for 3 months, it's not COVID. And so then they gave him every drug they could possibly think of, and just were not able to get those results that they wanted. So what we did, we went through and removed some of these food allergens, started healing up that gut lining. In 3 weeks, he's down to 1 to 2 bowel movements per day. Saw him last night. He's able to leave the house, do a lot of different things. And so that gut can heal up, and it can heal up very quickly. But just by throwing in, again, for anybody jumping on, this is gluten-free Girl Scout cookies here. I've tested sensitive to gluten. I keep away from those cookies. Yes, so, for a lot of people, don't just go and eat a bunch of gluten-free things. Don't just go load up, because I guarantee it's going to spike up your blood sugar. We see it all the time with patients. That blood sugar spikes up. It's going to create more inflammation, cause some other problems in there. Hey, Bill, good to see you there in Edward. So let me know if you guys have any questions on gluten, how to go off gluten, how to test for it, anything along those lines. We love answering these questions as well. So just going gluten-free and eating gluten-free grains of other kinds is not the solution. Even quinoa. I'll see people eat a bowl of quinoa and their blood sugar spikes up 140s, 150s, 160s. That's going to create more inflammation. A lot of people, I always say this, if you're losing weight and you've been off of grains for a while, and then you add some grains, even gluten-free grains back in, and it doesn't mess with the blood sugar, doesn't cause any other issues, very good chance that you're going to stop losing weight. So you've got to keep that going down. You've got to keep that blood sugar as stabilized as possible. And not add in grains until you're at that desired body weight. So what do? Well, a lot of proteins, vegetables, good fats, a few fruits that aren't going to make that blood sugar go up. So any questions on gluten, go ahead and pop those down below. I know that a lot of patients, they ask, can a little bit be okay? Can I just do a little bit here or there? Okay, hold on. Rim, hey Rim, good to see you. Does cassava flour have the same effect? So cassava flour, check out your siete chips, check out your siete tortillas. Give me a thumbs up. Has anybody seen those before? If you've seen them, they're the kind of the gluten-free paleo, they call it. But like one of those siete chips, it has 2 grams of carbohydrates in one chip. And a corn chip, a potato chip, yeah, some of you guys have seen it out there, has only 1. So it's got double the amount of carbohydrates in there. We have every patient that goes through, and what they've done is they've gone and tested their blood sugar, and we'll see 140s, 150s after having some of those chips or having one of those tortillas. So Rim, you've got to check that blood sugar, make sure that it's okay, because cassava root, it's a root. A lot of roots are going to cause that blood sugar to go up. So be careful with cassava. I know a lot of people are doing it for like muffins and all types of stuff, but you've really got to be careful with that blood sugar on there. So Sandy, best way to test blood sugar. So we just use a blood sugar monitor. You can get them off Amazon. You poke your finger, check it, and you'll be able to see exactly where that blood sugar is at any point. Sarah, good to see you as well. What about tiger nut flour? What about plantain? So many people, plantains, and most people are eating plantains like chips is what I'm assuming you're talking about. Plantain chips are going to be very similar to bananas in the amount of carbs in there, and especially when we dry fruit, it's going to be a higher blood sugar as well. So tiger nut flour, I've seen some good things with the tiger nut flour. Again, check blood sugar, see how you feel with digestion, inflammation, check a lot of different things to see how your body's doing. But that's what we do with our patients every day, is we go through, we eliminate certain foods, we add them back in and see how their body responds from there. But tiger nut flour is gluten-free. So let's see. For me, keeping my carbs to 60 grams a day, balanced proteins and fats. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people, Dr. Perlmutter, he wrote Grain Brain, which one of the best books out there as far as thinking about grains, gluten, blood sugar. And he says 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrates. Just for general purposes, if you don't know much of anything about blood sugar or anything else, that's a great place to go, is that 60 to 80 grams in there. Let's see, I think there was another question here. If you've got any questions on gluten at all, pop those down below. And yeah, so a lot of good questions there. So here we go. Again, Girl Scout cookies, just by going gluten-free with a Girl Scout cookie is not healthy. It's not going to be, oh good, it's gluten-free, it's good for my body. Most of them are higher in sugar, they're higher in carbohydrates, a lot of these different things that are going to cause other problems in the body. And for some people, they need to be off a lot of grains anyways during the healing of their digestive tract. So if you've been diagnosed with leaky gut, if you've got any absorption issues, anything like that, you've got to put aside the grains, even gluten-free grains, short term. So let me know if there's any other questions out there. Otherwise, if you're watching this down the road, pop it down below, and we check these videos all the time, and we'll keep our eye on that. So love having you guys on. Yes, absolutely. Please read the labels carefully, Carol says. Absolutely, there's a lot of different things in there. Gluten-free Oreos, delicious and dangerous. Sandy, I have not seen gluten-free Oreos. I haven't been down that aisle in a regular grocery store in a long time, but let's stay away from those. I know they're going to do as much as possible just to keep people eating the bad stuff over and over and over. On Oreo, regular Oreo, gluten-free Oreo, guess what? They're both bad. So we're not going to go there, just on a regular basis. Remember, fall in love with the process of being healthy. Step by step, day by day, get your body as strong and vibrant as possible. So gluten-free baked goods, not very good. A lot of sugar, a lot of carbohydrates, going to spike that blood sugar. So stay safe out there, guys. Stay strong. Keep your body as vibrant as possible and balance out that blood sugar. If you haven't tried going off gluten, be a great idea to try it now, especially for inflammation and a lot of different things. So make it a great night, everybody. Take care.